And so I've seen Saudi Arabian, and I'm not just praising Saudi Arabians, they just have been saying this for years. I've played the clips many times. Saudi Arabian ministers on French TV, UK TV saying, listen, we don't let these people in out of these very dangerous Islamic countries to our countries. And when you're letting these people in, it is going to cause a massive crisis and breakdown of your society. And you need to send them back where they came from, including the bad ones from Saudi Arabia. And the reason he was mentioning that is Germany and France and others have these laws where they cannot deport them back to those countries because most of them are fleeing their laws. And so they see the laws of those countries as tyrannical. Well, it's their country. And so they're like, oh, they've got political asylum. So even Saudi Arabia, I mean, for at least 10 years, I've seen many of their ministers talk about this and said, listen, you need to really not do this. So they take, I mean, you can see the boats coming in, the big boats, the Zodiac boats, the UN aircraft, the chartered flights. And I mean, you've seen the footage in Spain and all over or England, when the boats run up on the shore and 50 to 100 guys pile off, they go, ah, and just start running through the town like it's Road Warrior or something. I mean, this is dramatic. Yeah, I mean, we just got so many videos of this. I mean, literally, it's like our soldiers weren't battle crying that hardcore when they hit the beaches of Normandy in World War II. I mean, these videos, you've seen them. We can play some now. And they run up and go, we're going to slit your throat. You translate, they're like, kill you, kill you. And then they just start burning and killing and attacking. And in Ireland, they're just pumping them in now. And they're raping and killing and attacking. I mean, you know, some of the Muslims they bring in that are criminals at least organize, you know, the slave dens and how to drug the kids and how to pay out the police. It's more organized. But the African youth, 16 up to 25 is the average age. I mean, it is like World War Z. If you're a radio listener, you're not seeing this. I mean, I could just play you hours of this. There's new ones this week. Beautiful white cliffs of Dover. Even when Nigel Farage has been out there recently, and here come 3 boats with 50 men on each. And they just hit the ground and go, rah! And then they're in the town. And they get to the NGO and they say, you got sanctuary. Come on in. Everything is yours. 3 hots and a cot. And you can, I mean, this is just beyond insane. Oh, yeah, and they're like pirates, too. They'll just pull up at your town and start grabbing everything. I mean, I guess the Vikings did that, too. I mean, this is the equivalent of the modern Spain and the UK literally saying, we want Vikings to raid us and loot us. And the only difference is they're not wearing armor and they're not white. But, and of course with the Muslims, they were famous with the Moors going into Spain and conquering most of it, had to be reconquered or reconquisted. They have slavery as legal. And most of the Viking cultures, they'd execute you for that. But they would just kill you. So, yep, and you've got all the government officials there helping. And they'll also just, you know, carjack or truck jack things. It's the same thing in Italy and everywhere else, France. And then we've got numbers like this. Muhammad becomes the most common name among welfare beneficiaries in Germany. And you can guess a whole bunch of the other top names under it are Ahmed and things like that. So I'm going to explain this real simply. The Muslim countries will not take people from the countries these are coming from. None of the Muslim countries will take the Palestinians, who I don't want being genocided. I don't support what Netanyahu's doing. See, I can be against what Netanyahu's doing. And also, you know, his plan came out last year to ship them to Europe and here. No, if they're so wonderful, how about Jordan take them? How about Iraq take them? How about Saudi Arabia? No, they're like, no way. On average, you could not import somebody more dangerous than a Palestinian. I mean, you can look it up. I mean, you want trouble, you want problems, you want some serious stuff, you want constant uprisings, constantly stirring up trouble, bring them in. But hey, I say Netanyahu can keep them. And again, I think it's wrong that Netanyahu and the Israelis before him created Hamas and funded them publicly, and because they would destabilize the area and so they could have an excuse to blow up all those other innocent people. That's fact. For the average Christian Zionist, what do you mean Netanyahu funds Hamas? Up until 3 years ago, he was giving them $4 billion a year and had other countries giving them money. Israel created Hamas. I can play you Knesset videos where they admit, oh, we created it because they're out of control and we didn't want to have a legitimate government to deal with. We wanted to be able to, have an enemy. And then the leaders of Hamas live in other countries and basically work for Israel. Let me explain it to you from a science fiction perspective. You've seen episode 3 of Star Wars, most of you, right? Emperor Palpatine isn't emperor yet. He's the leader of the Senate. He became the leader by staging attacks on his own planet and being the savior. He hires people from basically Muslims they even talk with Muslim accents, but they're aliens from another planet to attack his planet, Naboo. That's in episode 1. And then he gets more and more power in episode 2. Then he attacks his own planet with a larger Federation and group, and Count Grievous, or whatever his name is. No, it's Count Dooku and the General Grievous. And then he gets to declare himself dictator because of the attack. So you need to understand that obviously most of the people in that fictional George Lucas film, if they were real, didn't know when they were attacking the Imperial planet that the guy on the ground they were attacking had it all set up and was getting ready to set them up. But it's just like Israel putting in, with Turkey and NATO, Al-Qaeda 8 months ago in charge of Syria. And now they got to go invade again and take them out. And it just goes on and on and on and on. And then we got to go fight the Muslims over there to keep them from coming here, we're told, for the last 25 years. And now we have record numbers of them brought into the U.S. and Europe by, the UN and the left and George Soros and the State Department. It's all part of a larger plan. We got to go fight them over there so they don't come here. And then we go and blow them up, destabilize them, put even more radical Islamists in, take out the CIA asset that they set up, Saddam Hussein, that's all on record. Take out Gaddafi, who's been working with them for years and stopped doing what he was doing. And so people see that, like Iran sees other countries that roll over and work with the West get set up. So it's a real problem. But back to the rape of Europe. Back to the very worst demographics. And I mean, not just the countries themselves, I mean the worst demographic of those countries. Military age male, street kids, criminal gangs, flooding Europe. Europe could die out, says Musk. He's absolutely right. Japan's dying out. They have like 1.2 kids for every 2 people. So sad. And then the media and the government demonizes the folks in the UK. They even fly their own official UK flag, the Union Jack. But boy, if you fly the King George flag with just a white flag with a red cross, yeah, it's the Crusaders flag, folks. Oh, they were fighting the same thing then. Oh, wow. Islam. It still doesn't matter. Now the entire British establishment is against the British people. Things will get even worse. Big article on Infowars.com. And the court ruled the illegals are above the law. They can stay and they can rape and do whatever they want in the hotels, and the citizens get pissed up at rope. And I already mentioned this, but Mohammed becomes the most common name among welfare beneficiaries in Germany. It's the same thing across Europe. And I mean, you look at the next few names, well, you guys said Ahmed and things like that. And I just, these are articles just every day. I'm not even looking for these. This is everywhere. Gang of aliens stab man in Germany. Alien gang forces 15-year-old to dance naked in Swedish mall. And it's people out of Africa and Islamists. Riots in Switzerland after Congolese teen dies. Right-wing politician targeted for lynching. Aliens that invaded Germany plan to stay forever. Muslim militants attacked Nigerian Christian village just 2 months after killing 200. Oh, yeah, the Muslims are killing the Africans that are Christian. Alien charged in German town square assault. 8-year-old Swedish boy forced to strip naked by a Somali alien who said victim looked like a racist. American hero John Rudent slashed in face defending 2 women in Germany. My modeling career is over, but I would do it again. Want to guess who stabbed him in the face? African alien eats dog in Italy in public. Shouldn't laugh. Tunisian and Syrian stab each other in Germany. I mean, it just goes, this is just the stuff of the last few days. It goes on and on. I could spend 10 hours just reading local news articles about Islamic rape gangs, child sex trafficking rings, and they've recruited the police. It's not just, not just the Muslims doing it. It's throughout the system in the UK, but they're like the anchor to it. They are the supercharger. They're the worker bees. Because in most of these Muslim countries, if you're not living at home with a hood over your head and not protected by your husband or your sons, you are in a slave brothel. They don't have women street walking on their own. They don't have women living by themselves and doing what they want. No. You live under a clan of men, or you get gang raped in the street, and if you complain about it under Islamic law in almost all those countries, so they follow what's actually in the Quran, you get stoned to death. Because even if they admit they did it to you, you still let it happen. You're guilty. And if your dad doesn't like, how you talk to him or whatever, they just take you out in the back and stone you or drown you or pour gasoline on your ass and light you on fire. And by the way, India is the same. The Hindus are the same. I'm not trying to attack people, it's just a fact. Look up dowry killings in India. You see, in the West, a man would have to pay a dowry to the family when they got the daughter. But in the East, women don't have as much value. And so the woman's family has to pay for a man to marry her. And then, well, you can make more money. The favorite thing to do is you just take her out in the parking lot and you just have a coffee can or Gatorade bottle of gasoline. You just throw it on her. You throw a match and you light her on fire, and you don't go to jail for it. You barbecue. And then, well, you get another wife and you torture her. We're not supposed to talk about things and cultures that I would say are terrible. We're not supposed to explain that out of Christian Western society, we got all the things that are recognized around the world as due process and good. But see, we have to be taught to hate ourselves because the globalists want to erase all that due process and freedom. And so the number one rule is never defend the West, never be proud of yourself. And if you're white, a white male, you are inherently evil. And they put all these leftist women in charge to help then sink the society. Very, very sad. But freedom gets in the way of global tyranny. That's why it's in the crosshairs, but it's coming back from the dead, like the Phoenix. Hour number 2 straight ahead. Stay with us. And tell folks, tune in now.